I'm Jake Skidlar. Okay, so imagine, it's July 6th, 1946. You wake up, grab your paper and your morning cup of coffee. Go to work, come back home, eat dinner, go to bed. Next day, it's July 7th now guys, so stay with me. Wake up again, grab your morning cup of coffee and your paper. You read that on July 6th, a guy who was famous for killing people and robbing banks has been caught and brought to justice. Every time you steal a pack of gum, or you hit a car in a parking lot and then back away, park a few more spaces down, it's a little bit harder to get away with that because of George Moran. George Moran was an infamous gangster in the 1920s, and he was the only guy to ever rival Al Capone. Today, we're going to be talking about, first, his involvement with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and secondly, how he was caught by the FBI. According to the St. Valentine's Day Massacre by the Chicago Tribune, the massacre took place on February 14, 1929. Now, it was between Al Capone's gang and George Moran's gang. Now, George Moran was controlling the only other gang in Chicago at the time, and Capone had gotten sick of him and he wanted him dead. So he put out a hit. At around 10:30, 4 of Al Capone's guys show up at George Moran's hangout. 2 of them were dressed as police officers, okay? Those 2 guys bust into the hangout. They see 7 guys just chilling around. It was a parking garage. So they're like, hey guys, hands against the wall, this is a raid. They tell them that they're all going to get arrested. So the guys put their hands against the wall, spread their feet. They're all just looking forward, not expecting anything. They just think they're going to get arrested. Well, the other 2 guys of Capone walk in with Tommy guns. And in under 2 minutes, 90 shells were pumped into these 7 guys spread against the wall. It sounded like a battlefield. Machine guns were chirping, revolvers were going off. Brain matter was splattered against the wall. Bones were actually snapped because all the slugs that were pumped into them. There was a pool of blood big enough that you could swim in it. It was pretty gruesome. Shocked the nation at the time. And then these 4 guys get in a car, a cop car, and drive away, and nobody ever suspected anything. So, they managed to kill 7 guys, but they missed their target. George Moran had overslept that day, and as a result, he kind of missed the whole massacre thing. And even though he evaded getting killed, he could not evade the police. He, according to This Day in History, by the History Channel, after the massacre, things kind of fell apart for George. He didn't have a gang anymore, so he was just doing small bank robberies in the South. And after a bank robbery in Kentucky, the FBI caught his trail, and on July 6, 1946, once again, from the beginning, he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison, where he died 11 years later of lung cancer. George Moran was a pretty interesting guy that had a lengthy career robbing banks and killing people. But because of his involvement in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre and getting caught by the FBI, his quality of living was kind of shot. Say what you will about July 6th, but it's a pretty interesting day to have a birthday.